There's a lot of talk in productivity circles about making goals. It's one thing to make goals and accomplish them, but that leaves out an important part of the process, transitioning from one goal to the next. What are we supposed to do with ourselves once we've accomplished something? If it's really about the journey instead of the destination, how do we move off of the destination and go back to the journey? This is a problem that has plagued thinkers since the beginning of time. Human progress has depended on people working through this issue. In Alfred Lord Tennyson's poem, Ulysses, he tackles this problem of restlessness. How to have done so much and yet not want to be done. We come to this world for many purposes, not just one purpose. So how do we get to the next thing after having done one thing? You see this with all sorts of successful people, an inability to simply be done with things, to go off into retirement. You see this with athletes like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, or Serena Williams, who are so determined that they keep on pushing past their ascribed limitations, and when their body gives out, continue to pursue accomplishment in other fields. How do they find the capacity to do that, to resist the temptation to fall back into laziness or lethargy? Ulysses, as you may know, was a hero of the Trojan War, as detailed in Homer's epic poem, the Iliad. His journey home took years and was captured in Homer's other epic poem, the Odyssey. But Tennyson takes him up at a different point in his life, after both of these poems. That is, after the parts that are told of by legend, after the accomplishment has already been done. What's left for Ulysses? That's what Tennyson's interested in. How the young man becomes the older man, how the older man becomes the elderly man, and yet has the spirit for something more even after all his travels and troubles. The poem opens with words of profound discontent. It little profits that an idle king, by this still hearth, among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal laws unto a savage race, that hoard and sleep and feed, and know not me. In these lines, Ulysses details the people of Ithaca, his homeland. He describes them as, quote-unquote, knowing not me, an allusion to the fact that most people will be ignorant of you, even if they actually know you. So to be clear, the ignorance being talked about here by Tennyson is not a personal ignorance, but a more destructive form of ignorance, a spiritual ignorance, when people are acquainted with you but can't see your soul. On your path, you'll find people who don't want to know you, who won't understand the thing that you're doing, who refuse to know you at a spiritual level. What should you be searching for itself? The first line holds the key: profit. But profit is definitively not just how much you're making, but something much more important than money: meaning. Meaning is the ultimate profit of life, the experiences and lessons that we've gained in our time that far exceed the wisdom of dollars. While financial profit can be some indication of how successful your life has been, it's clear that Ulysses is not talking about money here. What he's talking about instead is experience, something made clear by the lines in which Ulysses talks about his past. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments. Myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am a part of all that I have met. That stunning conclusion, that he is a part of all that he has met, should be a way of orienting your own life. Wherever you go, you leave your mark, or at least you should try to. You should try to be remembered by those who you meet. The impact and influence is much more important than money. It makes the profit of the first line much more than monetary gain. Meaning ultimately comes out of the longer personal narrative of our life, and it could mean different things to different people. Maybe meaning to you is about courage and about being a brave person, a soldier. Then your goal should be to meet as many people as possible and show them how much courage means to you. Maybe meaning is about athletic achievement, standing in for hard work, or maybe you're an artist or a deeply religious person. Whatever it is, what you need to do is be a vessel for your personal definition of meaning. Tennyson drives us towards an idea of wealth that is about relationships and love over being financially wealthy. When Ulysses writes, "How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use," he is using financial metaphors only in a sense to mock them, to point out that things like coins, kept unused, are unburnished, that is, grimy and dull. But along the way, you need to remember that not everybody is just like you. Just because you've found your meaning doesn't mean that everyone else has to follow along. And it works the other way too. Just because someone else has found their meaning doesn't mean you have to follow them to the T. This is most evident in a key stanza that Ulysses writes about Telemachus, his son. "This is my son, my known Telemachus, to whom I leave the scepter and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labor, by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine." Ulysses talks about his son. He's acknowledging that Telemachus has different strengths than him, that he might be a great governor of these people, with no interest to go journeying or exploring like Ulysses. And that's okay. There's no reason to impose yourself on others, even if you've found your own meaning. Meaning is not about replication or reproduction in the world. It's about driving everybody else towards their own highest goal, their own highest reward. This brings us to another idea, being inspired by someone without being a copycat. When I look at astronauts, I'm deeply moved by the sorts of things they do, but I have no interest in going to space myself. When I see priests, I love their work, but I don't want to enter the priesthood. When I see athletes, I'm inspired by their hard work, but I certainly don't have the skills to be an athlete. You don't have to follow someone else exactly to extract the meaning that they're displaying through their success. The famous last lines of Tennyson have everything to do with the final step of the work of meaning and inspiration, that is, invitation. We gain from reaching out to others, from bringing them along with us on our journey to ourselves. Ulysses writes and speaks to his friends, but he's not just reaching out to the friends that he has in the poem's world. It's to all of us, to all the readers of the poems, reaching out after the centuries to now. "Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order smite the sounding furrows." There is no limitation to your potential based on age or disability, or race or gender. The furrows, which of course refer to the wrinkles in one's face, are an evocative symbol for what you need to cast off, any kind of physical or mental hurdle that may be holding you back. You will have created your own meaning, and nobody, not even your own body, whether it be valued by the media or those around you, will be able to hold you back. The glorious final words are all about possessing yourself, and about doing great work till the end of time. "We are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. That which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield." Our striving, our power, does not go away with age. There's never any end to pursuit, to being a creative worker, something to take along with you in your daily life as you switch from career to career, or from one goal to the next in your own career. You should always be thinking this: I am casting off the age that has been forced upon me, the burdens and the hindrance that have been imposed. I will always have new tasks to accomplish, new ways to express that which I see as meaningful in life. Tennyson tells us that we need to go to that next thing with ardor, to not yield to the forces compelling against us. Look, importantly, at the tense of these 4 words ending the poem: to strive, to seek, to find, not to yield. They're all in the infinitive, which comes from the same Latin root, meaning infinite. The work never ends. The work specifically of finding our own meanings, whether that be in career, family, personal health, fitness, creativity, or some combination of those. Meaning is everywhere to be made, and never ends in its making. Thank you for listening to this video. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and like, and share with your friends. This has been Masculine Literature. Thank you so much.